great. I've been well. So this is the first one. So how have you been means how are you? But I want to ask you actually, how were you since the last time that we met so far? Okay. And another one that is good to know. So when you want to say that you were really busy, of course you can say, I was busy, I had a lot to do. But another one, so is to use an idiom. So for example, I was snowed under. I was snowed under at work. So which means I was really busy. Yeah. Let me share my screen because I haven't shared. Okay, now you can see. So this way you can say that I was really busy. Or for example, I was swamped. You know that swamped means very busy. So you can also use swamped means very busy. Okay, well, let's get started. Okay, and let's see. Oh, yeah, your favorite section. You again at the beginning of session, honest listening. So, of course, it's not too much. After that, we will talk about a really good topic that is culture. So let's finish this part. I think 6-3 is left, right?
Yeah, yes. I remember that we have finished this.
Yeah, of course. How about 6.4?
Yeah.
I'm not sure about this one, but you know, because I remember this for this section that we started and we discussed, but about 6.4. Okay, so what is that? Presenter can use different techniques to get their audience's attention at the start. Yeah, of course we discussed. So it's like asking a question, or for example, telling. Let me actually briefly talk about this one. This method. So, for example, each of these methods, like, you know, for example, using a question, or for example, telling a story, actually the first step to break the ice. So, for example, especially when I want to start a new topic, I want to talk about it, so I don't want to jump directly to my topic. So much better to have something like introduction. So for this introduction, I try to engage people. So how? I don't know, telling a story related to the topic or ask a question. So different methods, and everyone has her or his own method. So it's your choice how to engage people. Okay, well, so if we did, it's good to talk about culture. Okay, first of all, I want to ask you about the definition of this word. So what is culture in your opinion?
Yeah, do you mean culture in organization or company?
No, just culture in society.
Oh, yeah. I think it is science, and the people they research about the history and about the activity of people and how they communicate each other, and how do they react when they face some situations.
Yeah, of
And
course.
and I think all of them make a culture.
Yeah, of course. I do agree with you. The first, at first, we can say that culture is a way of life. And of course, it can be related to behaviors. It can be related to food. So a set of behaviors is called culture. So we know that. And every country sometimes, you know, each region and area can have different culture from, for example, all the areas or regions in one country, in the same country. So I want to ask you about your culture, actually your costume. So let's have a look at this
Uh,
part. Okay.
yeah.
So tell me about your culture. So for example, if someone travels to a country, what they need to know about your culture that is
Yeah.
really important for you. So it can be greeting ways, or for example, it can be about food. So what is that?
Yeah. Yeah. It have to say because I'm not a tour guide. So yeah.
Of course you are not.
Yeah.
So no,
But
for example, tell me about your greeting culture. So for example, in different countries, people greet in different ways. Some people
yeah.
just wave hands. Some people, for example, shake hands. So how about you?
Yeah. Yeah. I think Vietnam people we have we I think is friendly, and we easy to catch up when easy to catch up when you see someone on the street, and they and if you need to get help from them, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, easy. Yeah, you can order them to support you. For example, you can add about the streets and about the roads. Yeah,
yeah, of course.
yeah,
So first of all, people are welcoming. That is really good. So they're
yeah,
welcoming, they're really friendly, and they're happy to have people and, for example, to host people, and that's really good. Well, and after that, yeah, they're supportive. That's really good. Okay, and tell me, so this question, what do you miss most about your country or culture when you go abroad? If are there anything that you miss?
Sorry, can you say it again?
What do you miss most about your own country or culture when you go abroad?
Miss mode.
Yeah, of course. It's for example, you say that, oh, I miss that. It can be kind of food. It can be,
Mm,
for example, I don't know, your culture, not about your actually total culture. So I mean, I don't know, this part of it, or I don't know, this is about my country.
mm, yeah, I think that mean when I go abroad, and
Of
what would I miss about my
of
culture?
course, of course, when you travel, are there
Yeah,
anything that you miss about your country or culture when you travel abroad? You can say
yeah,
no, it's not.
yeah, yeah. I think I love Vietnam food. So I think when I go abroad, I yeah, I think I will do miss about my country food.
Of course, food can be the most important. Yeah, of course. So your
Yeah,
local cuisine, that is the
yeah,
most, I think it's
yeah,
most important thing and part of a culture can be food. So
yeah.
because food and clothes, of course. Well, so good answer. Okay, and now let's talk about cultural awareness. Why is cultural awareness important for business people? Do you have any idea?
Yeah, because I says culture mean culture will define how people reaction together, and when they have any activity. So I think in a company, the culture very important, because culture, uh, if a company have a strong culture, they will direct. direct employee do and think about their work and about their uh, environment. So I think it's important and have people reaction together.
Yeah, of course, yes. So as we discussed, so of course, culture is related to our uh, customs, behaviors, and so when
Yeah,
we know, when we can predict, of course, we can react. So
yeah,
maybe we can be proactive. Even
yeah,
we can, so because some people are reactive, some people are proactive. I think successful people are proactive. It means they decide, they make something happen, so they
yeah,
ready something to happen. They don't wait until something happens and then react, because you're ready. So
yeah.
when you know about people, of course, you know how to behave. And so it's really important to know your target audience, so or consumers, who they are and how you can meet their needs. Okay. Uh, so about culture, let's choose for factors which you think are most important to creating, yeah, to create a culture. So give a reason: climate, institutions, ideas and belief, cuisine. So which one is really important to make a culture?
I think idea and belief.
Yeah,
Uh,
idea, of course,
yeah.
and belief. Yeah, of course. I do agree.
Uh,
How about cuisine?
it's okay, but I think it's not. It is output. It that means it's a visual and
Of
people
course.
can feel about the culture.
Food, cuisine is your food. Local
Yeah,
cuisine is free. Yeah, you know that. So of course it's really important to
yeah, yeah.
know how people, for example, eat
Mm,
and make food. So
mm,
yes,
yeah.
cuisine.
Yeah. Yeah, I think sometimes climate effect to make culture in a region or a country. I think so.
Yes,
Vietnamese we yeah our culture grow from grow rice. So I think it's impact a lot to our culture.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Because we grow from we are farmer, so we grow to become someone. But I think in the first thing when top of mind when we think about something, yeah, it affected by our culture. Yeah,
yeah, of course, of course. But how about social customs and traditions? Because of course, tradition
yeah.
means culture. So how about this one? For example, tell me about something that is not acceptable in your culture. For example, I don't know, kissing people in cheeks is not acceptable in my culture, but smiling is really good and important in my culture. For example, when you meet someone, and no matter if it's the first time, you don't know, we normally smile, and that is really important, maybe a part of our
Yeah.
culture. So do you have something that is not acceptable in your culture?
Mm, yeah, I'm not really understand about that situation.
So you have no idea.
Yeah,
Okay, of course, of course. Well, Jess, before we keep going, let me talk about two words here. It's good to know. So, as you know that culture, cultural, cultured, okay, and culturally, so different forms of this word. Culture
yeah.
is okay, of course, it's noun. Culturally is adverb, so I'm not going to talk about it. But cultural and cultured. So, cultural and cultured. Both are adjectives, but they are different in meaning. When you say someone is cultured, means well educated, means well read, intelligent, polite. So, well educated, well read. So polite, so you can say it's, for example, this person is cultured. Okay, but cultural, again, another adjective, but not with the same and similar meaning with this. For example, or cultural, for example, behavior, or cultural, for example, something like stereotypes. Okay, so something like this. Something related to culture can be cultural. Okay, and of course, the adverb culturally, for example, touching a child's head is culturally unacceptable in my country. So you can use it as an adverb. Oh, I'm typing. Okay. All, for example, our cultural habits are something like this. Well, okay, now let's keep going. Okay. Well, do you think cultures are becoming more alike? Is this a good thing or bad thing? Give reason for your answer. So why it's good? Because maybe it can improve communications, maybe cheap foreign travel. So think about them and tell me, first of all, do you think cultures are becoming alike?
Yeah. Align mean popular, more people popular.
When they are alike, for example, it means our culture and yours actually are becoming the same. So in the past, maybe people were very different, used to be really different in different countries. But maybe nowadays, these cultures are becoming more alike. It means similar. So first of all, do you agree?
Yeah.
Maybe because of social
Yeah,
media.
similar.
Yeah,
Mm, mm, yeah, yeah, I think so, but it will take more long time.
yeah, of course, of course. Maybe in the future.
Yeah, yeah, because nowadays people easy to connect and talk together,
Yeah,
so they easy to effective by outside of their community or outside of their community. So I think they will learn each other.
yeah,
So I think so, but I think it's will take a lot of time, not
yeah.
right now.
Of course, of course. And so it can be beneficial or maybe negative. You think, yeah, in some ways, of course, it can be really advantages. Like, yes, we say that, for example, a way it enables us to actually improve our communication. So it's okay with all the countries and people from different cultures. It's really good for global business, especially so maybe in the past, because when there is a big difference between two cultures, it's a bit difficult to understand and to work with, of course,
Yeah.
but maybe it can make the way easier or simpler. But tell me about a negative point about becoming similar, if there
Mm,
is.
yeah, I think the mm, the negative thing is when people become more allies in culture. That means some community they will lose their culture, and they may don't they may don't remember about their history and their traditional rule.
Of course.
Yeah,
Of course. Well, so because culture actually makes us unique.
yeah,
So yes, I do. Yeah, I do definitely agree with you. Globalization cancels local cultures. So this one is really important
yeah.
because it's really interesting that cultures pass from one generation to the next, from our parents, grandparents to us. So pass from older generation, one generation to the next. And this way, maybe, I don't know, especially like mix of cultures, or for example, I don't know, being the same. I don't know, maybe it can cancel our local cultures. So yes, it can cancel that uniqueness. So maybe. Well, okay. So how important are the following things when doing business in your country? Are they important, not important, best avoided? So let's see. So exchanging business card,
Important.
yeah, and
Yeah,
shaking hands,
important.
kissing,
That's a boy.
of course, of course,
Yeah,
socializing with contacts,
that means say about the contact for
yeah.
another one.
Socializing, like for example, having good relationship, talking to people, communicating people,
Mm, I think important.
of course, and
Yeah.
small talk before meetings.
Mm, I don't think so. I think it's not important.
Yeah, accepting interruption.
Not bad avoid.
Yeah, really. It actually, we have the problem with this word interruption because it's best avoided. So it's not really good. And except why we
Yeah.
need to accept it. It's not. Yeah, of course. Being formal or informal. Being formal or informal. Is it important?
Not important.
Yeah. Okay. Well, and punctuality.
Hello, hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Hello. I'm here. I can hear you clearly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So being formal or informal, of course, is important, I think so.
I think it is not important in Vietnamese. We in
Ah,
in some sector they want to be formal, but in some field, in some sector, it's not important. For
oh,
example, in
yeah.
yeah,
So
for example,
totally
in our
important, for
company.
example.
Hello, hello.
I'm here.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you clearly. I'm listening to you. So in your
Yeah,
company?
yeah. In our company, we choose freestyle and we choose mm, to build a culture very open. So So I think is formal is not important.
Of course.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's not important. And punctuality,
Yeah, I don't know that word.
so being on time. That's
Oh,
really important. Attending
oh,
important meeting on time.
yeah, very important.
Of course, I think all around the world is really important to be punctual.
Yeah.
And humor,
Can you explain me about the humor?
of course, humor or sense of humor. Being fun, not too serious. So what do you think about this? Humor, actually the state of being fun, not
Mm,
too serious. So some
mm,
situations are really serious. But if you are able to find things funny, so that is
mm.
humor. So how about this one?
I think it's important.
I think so,
Yeah.
especially in actually when it comes to long-term business, it's really important. Not
Yeah.
too much, but being strict and too serious, I think it's a bit boring.
Yeah.
And giving presents,
Mm, I think it's good. It's important.
yeah, and being direct. This is really
It's very,
important in my
uh,
culture.
yeah, important.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
And using first names.
yeah, important. Easy
Yeah,
to say
yeah.
hi to anyone.
Yeah, actually it depends. For example, in my culture, it depends.
Yeah, yeah.
Sometimes it's not acceptable, sometimes
Mm,
it's okay. So it depends, especially people. Well,
mm,
okay, let's keep going. So as you can see, costumes, tradition, and food. So,
mm.
again, we have an interview.
Yeah.
Okay, so cultural awareness. And
Yes.
we're going to listen to the first part, and he talks about training courses which prepare people for doing business internationally. Let's complete the list of issues that he mentions. So as you can see,
Yeah.
issues covered by the training course. So let's have a look at question, and after that, listen.
Mm,
Well,
yeah.
7.1, just one moment. Okay.
Unit 7. Cultures. Recording 7.1.
How do you prepare people to do business internationally?
How we prepare people to do business internationally really depends on the task that they're undertaking on behalf of their company or organisation. For example, if you're being sent by your company to live and work overseas for a period, say, of 2 or 3 years as an assignee, then we would provide you either with a 1 or 2 day programme covering such issues as cultural awareness, practical issues of living in, working in, as well as how to deal with culture shock, which everybody goes through when they go on assignment. We'll also deal with particular issues such as schooling, healthcare, and in particular parts of the world, increasingly with security. However, if, as is the case now, many more people are not actually going to live overseas but have international responsibility, you need a different set of learning tools. And that is, first of all, a general cultural awareness and understanding of how you should really operate when dealing with people with other cultures, teaching you how to negotiate contracts, communication, just generally whether that's by telephone, by email, or even by the written word. The words that you choose have a very different effect on the recipient depending on which culture you're conversing with. Another important area these days is presentation skills. In the past, it's been assumed that you use the same presentation from your home country when presenting to a multicultural audience. That's very much not the case. And we teach people even down to the kind of words you use on the slides, the colours you use, and indeed how to deal with questions and answers and manage your audience, because of course in different cultures there's a different response. Finally, it's very important, we believe here at Farnham Castle, to underpin all this with some ability to communicate in the host language. Whilst English is still very much regarded as the international language of business, it is increasingly expected that people will make at least some effort and attempt to learn the language of the people that they're dealing with. Particularly in a social environment, it really demonstrates an interest and an affinity with the people that you're trying to build relationships with. And of course, business is all about building relationships.
Well, so the first one.
Yeah, but can you, let me say, let me listen again one more time.
Of course,
Yeah.
why not? Of course. Let's listen again.
Unit 7. Cultures. Recording 7.1.
How do you prepare people to do business internationally?
How we prepare people to do business internationally really depends on the task that they're undertaking on behalf of their company or organisation. For example, if you're being sent by your company to live and work overseas for a period, say, of 2 or 3 years as an assignee, then we would provide you either with a 1 or 2 day programme covering such issues as cultural awareness,
Covering such issues like what awareness, that is really important.
Yeah.
Let me help you. Cultural awareness, of course, that's really important. So 2 or 3 days to get familiar, to become familiar with the actually know the culture. So
Yeah.
Okay, keep going.
issues of living in, working in, as well as how to deal with
Practical issues of what and what?
Living
Yes.
in.
Yeah,
And,
living
working.
and working, of course, right.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
culture shock, which everybody goes through when they go on assignment. We'll also
Culture shock.
covering such issues as cultural awareness, practical issues of living in, working in, as well as how to deal with culture shock, which everybody goes through when they go on assignment. We'll also
dealing with
culture shock.
Of course.
deal with particular issues such as schooling, healthcare, and in particular parts of the world, increasingly with security.
So, schooling, healthcare, of course, very good.
However, if, as is the case now, many more people are not actually going to live overseas but have international responsibility, you need a different set of learning tools. And that is, first of all, a general cultural awareness and understanding of how you should really operate when dealing with people with other cultures, teaching you how to negotiate contracts.
Teaching how to negotiate contracts.
Communication, just generally, whether that's by telephone, by email, or even by the written word, the words that you choose.
So telephone, email, and?
Yeah, I didn't hear it. Yeah.
You heard written word. Yeah, written word. So it can be,
have a very different effect on the recipient depending on which culture you're conversing with. Another important area these days is presentation skills. In the past, it's been assumed that you use the same presentation from your home country when presenting to a multicultural audience. That's very much not the case, and we teach people even down to the kind of words you use on the slides, the colours you use,
so the words and what you use? Colors, yeah.
How to deal with questions and answers and manage.
How to deal with
question and answer.
Of course.
Your audience, because of course in different
and
cultures there's a different response from your home country when presenting to a multicultural audience. That's very much not the case.
So, and managing your audience. Okay. Well, so first, actually, before we keep going with the next part, let me ask you about actually a culture shock that you experience. If you have you ever experienced a culture shock when traveling somewhere?
Yeah. It's a long time ago when the first day after I graduated from university, and I have a opportunity to in in the north of Vietnam, and in it is a small community in North Vietnam. So the first thing, when I come to work with the local people, so the first thing they give me they give me a cup of alcohol, very big, and so they talk that before work together, I have to finish full of the cup of alcohol. So I'm very shocked.
Ah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, of course. Something like they offer a drink. So when
yeah, yeah,
yeah, that's interesting. Good. Yeah, yeah, it's good. Well, so sometimes actually culture shocks are like funny. So it's you and you like. So yeah, it's good
yeah,
idea. But sometimes you really become surprised at why is that? So especially when you travel to another country that is really different from your country. So I think. Well, and now listen to the second part. Jeff talks about the personality traits that helps in doing business internationally. Which three personality traits does he consider to be important? So let's see. 7.2.
Recording 7.2.
And are there certain skills and techniques for doing business internationally which could be applied in any culture?
I think rather than skills and techniques, there are some very strong personality traits that those people who tend to be more successful in an international business environment tend to demonstrate. For example, flexibility and adaptability would be a particularly strong requirement. The ability to observe, participate in something, and adapt your own set of skills and knowledge and your own way of doing things to actually listen more carefully would be another strong trait that you really ought to demonstrate. Adaptability, listening, and I think really to take a approach with a very positive attitude. I think anybody who approaches cultural issues with a very negative attitude will get a very negative response from the people they're trying to do business with.
Well, so why?
yeah. For seven, yeah, 7.2.
Yeah,
I think it's a flexibility and
flexibility, of course, and
adapt
yeah,
skill.
adaptability, of course.
Yeah,
Adaptability and flexibility, of course. So to be adopted, to accept and be accepted. Yeah, of course.
yeah.
And the next one?
Mm, Communicate. That
Uh,
means present and talk.
how about listening carefully? So you should be attentive, listen
Yeah,
carefully and get the point. So I
yeah,
heard, of course, we'll listen again, but listen
yeah,
carefully. To listen carefully is really important. And
yeah,
the third one,
yeah. I'm not. I didn't catch up.
okay, you didn't catch. Okay, just
Yeah,
catch up. No, it's if you want to say I didn't catch, I
yeah. I
didn't
didn't.
catch, forget. So it's okay.
Yeah,
Well, positive attitude. Positive attitude. Now listen again and try to compare the answer that what will you hear. Okay, let's listen again.
Recording 7.2.
And are there certain skills and techniques for doing business internationally which could be applied in any culture?
I think rather than skills and techniques, there are some very strong personality traits that those people who tend to be more successful in an international business environment tend to demonstrate. For example, flexibility and adaptability would be a particularly strong requirement. The ability to observe, participate in something, and adapt your own set of skills and knowledge and your own way of doing things to actually listen more carefully would be another strong trait that you really ought to demonstrate. Adaptability, listening, and I think really to take a approach with a very positive attitude. I think anybody who approaches cultural issues with a very negative attitude will get a very negative response from the people they're trying to do business with.
Yeah. So, could you hear?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I hear about the listening, listen carefully, and yeah.
Of course, listening carefully. And the last one, positive attitude, because normally people face issues when they're having negative attitude towards some things, or for example, people. So that's really important to have positive attitude towards people and of course situation. So this way, okay. And now, we're going to listen to the third part of interview, but let's have a look of these maybe culture aspects. Okay. So entertaining, time, gift giving, greetings, and hierarchy and dress. So of course, when you want to maybe start to begin communication, or for example business with someone or an organization, which one of these factors is important, you think? Entertaining, time, gift giving, greetings, hierarchy, dress? Which one is important, you think? For example,
I think the
first
first
time,
is
yeah,
greeting.
Greeting, of course.
And yeah, greeting and time.
And time,
I think so.
Of course.
Yeah.
And I think, when you say greeting, of course, dress is included. I think this is a part of greeting. So how you are well dressed and you're ready to greet someone. So I think dress is included in greeting. So it's a part of it. Well, so let's listen and let's see what he says.
Recording
7.3.
Recording 7.3.
And can you give us examples of typical cultural mistakes made by people doing business internationally?
There are lots of quoted examples, and I think they're really to do with attitudes, particular facets of cultures. For example, time would be a very important cultural aspect that you really do have to learn. If you're from a Western culture, then how you do approach time and how you do business, for example, in a country like Saudi Arabia, would be very important. Other examples are really attitudes to hierarchy. For example, there are many US corporations who have very young, high-flying business, very successful business executives. For example, if you send one of those individuals to meet and do business with a senior Asian business person, again, Japan comes to mind, then they'll be met with a very distinctly negative response. And what indeed will happen is that the senior Asia business person will see this very much as an insult, probably either leave the meeting or refuse to attend the meeting, and will actually send somebody who they think is of equal status and age to negotiate with that individual. And because that lower individual, more junior individual, doesn't have the authority, then you're very unlikely to achieve anything out of that meeting.
Well, he didn't mention directly. He didn't mention directly, but he explained completely. So what did he get?
That is time and hierarchy.
Yeah, hierarchy and time, of course, perfect. Especially about the second. Do you agree with him? Because he actually talked specifically about, you know, the Asian attitude to hierarchy. So, for example, I don't know, sending a very young executive somewhere, and it can be like, for example, a kind of insult to, for example, yeah, maybe to senior. So do you agree with this?
Yeah, I think so. I agree because because he mentioned about the hierarchy. That means the people in the community who have a responsibility for when they cooperate together. So
Yeah,
they so he said that it's very important because uh, it had a company which has a good hierarchy may resolve the problem when they communicate.
yeah, of course. So you totally agree with this system, like for example, a system that organizes or ranks things or people according to power or importance. For example, at school, the
Mm.
principal is at the top.
Mm.
And of course, we have staff hierarchy. We have, for example, seen. So you totally agree with the system?
Yeah, yeah, I
Yeah,
agree.
of course, of course. Well, okay. So tell me, my last question, which country would you like to visit on business? And which country maybe wouldn't you like? You say, no, not this country.
Mm.
So if you're gonna have,
Mm.
I don't know, something like
Yeah,
business relationship with a company from another country, what
yeah,
country?
yeah. For now, I don't have any plan to go to business trip in the near future because I work with some big tech, for example, Facebook, TikTok,
Yeah,
Google or Microsoft. So they all of them have head office in Asia.
yeah, of
Yeah,
course.
but if I have yeah, but if I have time and money, I would to I like to visit American. Yeah, big
Of
and
course,
yeah,
of
yeah,
course.
and I like to uh, visit head office of Google or Microsoft. Yeah, because it's
Yeah,
a big tech company.
of course, of course.
Yeah,
I do like Monopoly. I do agree with you. Yeah,
yeah,
so of course, just you go on. The only point that I need to mention, you go on a business trip or you take. So take or go on. Preposition to is not acceptable for trip or journey. So
yeah,
go on
yeah,
for trip or journey. Okay, so let's skip this topic for the next session. Just as I know, we're gonna have an extra session, yeah, on Wednesday, right? Am I right?
yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's
Wednesday. Yeah,
of course, that's okay. Well,
yeah,
so have a great day and see you on
yeah,
Wednesday.
yeah. Thank you, and see you on
You're
Wednesday.
welcome. Of course. Goodbye.
Yeah, bye.
Bye.